It's 5:15. I'd like to call this special meeting to order. Moving down the agenda, conflicts of interest. I have a perceived one on number 4, support staff. My sister-in-law is a para, so I won't be voting on number 4. So, any other conflicts? Jason?
The master teacher agreement.
Okay. Okay. You okay? Any other conflicts? Hearing none, we'll move into the agenda. We have board vacancy. We have the selection process. You just want to go over that, Rob, or is there something?
You had the memo previously that kind of outlined the process. We had 2 individuals, Mindy Schmitz, Dan Tweeten, complete the application, so you get to skip a step. You don't have to get down to the 3. You're already under that, so you can go right into discussion and approval when you are to that point. So if you have any other questions, I did include the applications for both Mindy Schmitz and Dan Tweeten in your board packet, so you should have had an opportunity to review those, but I would say you're at the discussion stage. You need to make a motion at some point to approve.
Heidi?
I would like to move forward and make a motion to approve Mindy Schmitz to be selected. No, we can't do that? I thought we have to do.
We have discussion first on, and then the next letter B is the approval.
Okay. I'm jumping ahead to letter B then.
And the process by Century Code, by regulations, you will I will hand out a piece of paper that has their names on it, yes or no, and you write your name on there. And then what we decided to do, Amy will pick them up and she will read them by law. We need to read them out loud, and I will mark who voted for who, and then we know the outcome, and then you can make a motion to approve.
Okay. So you want to go first, Heidi? You want to discussion?
So since we're in the discussion phase of this, I would like to just discuss that between the 2 candidates, Mindy Schmitz has had experience as a board member and has had been through board orientation and understands the process. I appreciate people being interested in the board position, which I think is great. I would like to have even seen more interest in it. So it's great that people are interested in serving on the board. We have just such a short time period here for this position to fill. If it were 2 or 3 years, that kind of thing, or 2 years, it would be different. But I feel that the short time period would be also efficient dollar-wise, because the time it takes for board orientation, I think we went through that like about 6 months this last time around, to meet before the meetings to do the orientation process. So that's would be my reasoning.
Okay. Any other discussion or?
I would just add, I concur with what she said, having been.
Oh, turn your mic on. Nope, sorry.
I could use my teacher voice and we wouldn't have needed it, but I would concur with what she said, and I think we were lucky to have 2 really qualified, great people apply. But knowing the learning curve I had this year, and I thought I came into it with a pretty good background in education, it still was different being a board member. So I would think that would be helpful in having things hit the ground running.
Any other discussion? Greg?
Yeah, I would agree with all that. And I also, we certainly worked with Mindy before, and I think that was good. But I also like the idea of, we've had a lot of new people come on to the board, and I think it's added a lot. And, it's kind of changed the dynamic, and I think in a positive way. So, I had a hard time, honestly, between the 2 because I looked at it in that light, and I think just as well Dan would probably do well as another different voice. That's all.
Any other discussion on them or? None? Okay. Move to B then. Sally?
Just a reminder, make sure to mark your name there at the bottom of the ballot. And Amy will collect them and read them out loud.
Diane Hansen voted for Mindy Schmidt. Gail Nelson voted for Mindy Schmidt. Heidi Larson voted for Ms. Schmidt. Aaron Roberts voted for Mr. Tweeten. Roger Hout voted for Mrs. Schmidt. Jason Rohr voted for Daniel Tweeten. Greg Allen voted for Daniel Tweeten. And Melissa Gleason voted for Daniel Tweeten.
So we have a tie, so we have to revote, we have to pass out ballots again, and it's 4-4, so we have to revote.
That's the question. That's the policy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to have a greater discussion or?
Yeah.
Roger, maybe if,
After we're done with this,
again, maybe have some greater discussion.
What is the remainder of the term? How long are we talking?
June of 2022.
So we're talking 1 year?
yep,
Yeah, less than 1 year.
less than a year.
Yeah, technically.
Yep.
And then I think next year, are you up, Jason, or Greg's up? And you're up too? So that would be the 4 then.
Yep.
So there's 4 up next summer.
Yes, the process, Amy, we reviewed the process, we have to keep holding each other. Yes.
I would just suggest you have discussion.
Yeah, if we have a tie after this round here, I think what we'll do is just get into some more discussion on what everybody's thinking. And
Diane Hansen, Mindy Schmitz. Roger Hout, Mindy Schmitz. Jason Rohr, Daniel Tweeten. Melissa Gleason, Daniel Tweeten. Greg Allen, Daniel Tweeten. Heidi Larson, Mindy Schmitz. Aaron Roberts, Daniel Tweeten. And Gail Nelson, Mindy Schmitz.
so a little bit more discussion. I mean, my opinion is that it's only 1 year, and I would hope that, depending on how the vote goes tonight, that whoever does not get it would actually run next year. And then, because we need, I don't know what the board is going to do now, the present board members, whether they're going to run again. I don't know if Greg wants to go for a 75th year or not, but he might decide that next year might be done, so then that's an open seat and so on. So we have open seats coming up, and I just think that we need to have, more people that are involved in the community to come forward and to run so that. But moving to the next year, we're only talking 11 months before that election comes. And I think that, like Gail said, the learning curve of the school and stuff, by the time you get going, it could be after the first year. And I think it'd be, in my opinion, just to have a more experienced board member at this time, just for the short time, so. Diane?
If Daniel Tweeten is voted in, he would go through board orientation, and how would that work? How many weeks would he be involved with that?
I suppose that depends. You could make it shorter. How we've done it at least in the last couple iterations, has been to meet in smaller chunks over longer periods of time. I would think I would want to do that maybe a longer, not a, longer blocks of time for fewer meetings. I don't know if that's the most effective way, but I think in this scenario, that's probably what I would want to do, to make sure that a new member feels comfortable in all those roles and responsibilities that come.
Go ahead, Diane.
Just wondering, I don't know the name, what is his background in terms of education or things that we deal with on the board?
You asking me? The application is there. I don't know if I could speak much outside of the application.
Aaron, you have something? Oh, go, Jason.
I was just going to mention on the orientation piece, does anyone remember when the School Board Association orientation is? Okay, October. I don't want to say we would want to shortchange anybody some orientation, but maybe we just go with that piece of it, if we elect Daniel. And so anyway, I was just going to bring up, the School Board Association. Is it 1 day, 2 days? 2 days? Okay.
Gail?
I don't know, and I'm speaking, maybe I'm a slow learner. I don't know I felt that the other training was very helpful, especially for more how it affected things here, where I got a big picture. I mean, I felt like I knew more at the state level than I definitely did for some of our local trainings, if that makes sense. I had a bigger grasp, especially of some of the education pieces they went over, and some of that I think it would be hard to do this adequately without, as much as that's just my opinion, having just went through it. Other people could go through it and feel entirely different. So, but that would be my.
I think you go through the local, and years ago, we never did have that local training, and you go to Bismarck to that training, and kind of a refresher course, plus you also get, a little more information there, so. Aaron?
I am an acquaintance of Dan, and I do know him. He is one of the smartest guys I know, so if there's any concern about him getting up to speed, you don't have to be concerned about that. He's highly degreed in multiple areas, and like I say, he's a smart individual that can get on board, get up to speed real quick.
Melissa?
I agree with Aaron. I know Dan also, and not only do I think he'd be able to get up to speed very quickly, but during the time when the school was online learning and everything, I know that he took it upon himself to just open up. He put it out into the community. If you need homework help or anything like that, he was available to do that. And that, to me, proves that he's committed to helping our students in our community and the families in our community. And I don't think this is going to be something that he's just going to fill this 1 year term. I think it's going to be a long term. So any training that would go into that, I think would be would carry on to the next term. So, and like Greg had said, I just think it just adds another perspective to the board.
Heidi?
So, yeah, I agree. Dan is I've known Dan for a long time. And I think if this were a full 2-year term, 3-year term, 4-year term, I might feel a little differently sitting here making this decision. It's not an easy decision. And it's, like I said, I know both the candidates very well, and it's not about picking who I like best or it just picking what is going to fill that role in that chair the best, the most efficiently, and going to make the most sense for a few months rotation here. I certainly hope, Dan would run for a full term, go through the full orientation, and not be shortchanged either with that. I think that would be really important. So that is my reason for supporting Mindy. I do know it did take a lot of central office staff time, too, for the orientation. It wasn't just board members' time, which is fine. I've been a mentor the last 2 iterations of it, but it also takes a lot of central office time again, it's just for this short period of time. So that's where the reason for my support. Again, both the candidates I'm very excited that there's interest, and I've known both of them for a long time, like both of them very much, but it just what makes sense to me to fill that chair for a short time.
Jason and Melissa.
So then are we making the assumption that Mindy would have 0 orientation? Because I don't feel that that would be appropriate either. The experience is helpful, but I also don't feel that the position is what you put into it. And I think they both would put what they need to in it to do it successfully. I just don't carry a lot. I mean, I understand the efficiency in the short time period, but I don't put a lot of weight on the inexperience, even though it's a 1-year term.
Melissa?
I guess, too, my hesitation with Mindy, and it's really the only hesitation that I have, is that we may run into a lot of the same types of problems that Mr. Tosa was having with conflicts of interest because of the positions that she holds at the Art Center and some different things. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Heidi?
Yeah, that would concern me less, because I'm certain that she would declare it, just as I think any of us in any of our roles, with myself working at where I work, where other people's spouses work. I mean, I think you get a community this size, it's kind of hard, and this many board members, it's hard to have a topic without something, and I think I'm certain that she would do the right thing and declare conflicts where they need to. And we've actually already approved the next year's Art Center agreement, so that's already taken care of for next year.
Greg?
Like I said, it's a hard decision, obviously, that we're going through, but one other point that I liked, and some of the new people on here, picked up on that, but there were questions, from the new people. I mean, it wasn't business as usual, for us who've been here for a while, and, okay, we do that. You guys say, well, wait a minute, what does that mean? I love that. And that coming from someone that's new, to me, is a healthy, good thing, I guess. I just like the mix, and I'm not so worried about the efficiency and coming up to speed as it is the different mix of the board. And I almost like the idea of someone that's new. I just think it puts new blood, it puts new ideas, and I think it can be a positive for us.
Any other discussion? None? Okay, vote again. What's that? Yeah.
Melissa Gleason, Mr. Tweeten. Greg Ellen, Mr. Tweeten. Jason Rohr, Mr. Tweeten. Roger Hout, Mr. Tweeten. Heidi Larson, Miss Schmidt. Aaron Roberts, Dan Tweeten. Diane Hansen, Mindy Schmidt. Gail Nelson, Mindy Schmidt.
Okay, moving on to finance. Oh. Okay. Motion to approve. Motion by Jason, seconded by Heidi. Any other discussion? Jason?
I just had a question on, I know we agreed on this process. And there's century code and, law that comes into it too. I'm just wondering if we'd ever run into this again. I would like to hear from the people verbally. I mean, we could invite them in and it wouldn't have, I guess it would have to be a public meeting, but maybe we could make that part of our process if we run into this again, just not like an interview or firing squad thing, but, just like to hear from them and their perspective.
Diane?
I completely agree with Jason. I really appreciated what Mindy said about Dan Tweeten, which, you don't gather, he might have mentioned that were he here. And there's little things like that that make a difference in a board member's application. That's all.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, moving to finances, we have the reading and approval of the minutes of the June 21st Finance Committee meeting. Motion by Greg. Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 2, is there a motion to approve the Teachers Master Agreement 21-23 school year? Motion by Heidi. Seconded by Greg. Okay. Seconded by Greg. Any discussion? Hearing none, those who are able to vote say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 3, is there a motion to approve the non-teaching professional contract for 21-22 school year? Motion by Jason, second by Melissa. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 4, is there a motion to approve the support staff wage for 21-22 school year? Motion by Greg. Seconded by Aaron. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those able to vote say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 5, is there a motion for the approval of central office administration contracts for the 21-22 school year? Motion by Melissa. Seconded by Aaron. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to personnel, is there a motion to approve the hire of Corey Hickman, 5th grade teacher at Roosevelt Elementary, salary of $44,317 upon successful background check for the 21-22 school year, salary to be adjusted upon ratification of the agreement that we just had. So, motion by Melissa, seconded by Greg. Any discussion? Hearing none, assuming roll call vote, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 2, is there a motion to approve the special education technician position? Go ahead.
If I can just maybe lay the stage for this a little bit. We had a discussion, I'm not sure if it was last meeting or 2 meetings ago, regarding this new credentialing for a special education technician. We talked that we were still working on compensation. How would we compensate? Because this could be a certified person, it could be a non-certified person, and how do we make that work? I met with administrators in special education to outline a job description, which is linked in the board memo number 76. And so we outlined that, and we started talking about certification and how that would work and compensation. So what we opted for was what you have outlined here, that the compensation for a non-certified individual would be a starting wage of $35,000 as a flat increase, or a flat amount. Annual increases would be subject to the terms of the non-teaching professionals. Historically, what that's been is the same increase that goes to the teachers through teachers negotiations. Generally speaking, that's a very similar group of individuals. So a 1.3% increase for teacher salaries becomes a 1.3% on non-teaching professionals. So the increase traditionally has been the same, although that's board action every time. And then a teaching position, a certified individual would be in place as well, and they would be, again, on that non-teaching professional scale on a starting wage consistent with a first-year teacher for a certified teacher. As we talked before, the rationale to do this this way, when we have a non-certified person, that's an individual that's taking on a much greater responsibility than anybody else in the classified area, and we felt it warranted a salaried position for that reason, and because of the responsibilities of the position. For a non-teaching, or for the teaching or the credentialed individual or the certified teacher, we want that to be a fair compensation. At the same time, we recognize that might be an individual that has an interest in eventually taking on special ed certification. So we want to make sure that we have a pathway to honor the work of a support staff person in doing that, taking on those additional responsibilities, or a certified teacher that's looking to become certified special education. In both of those, it's our recommendation that we set up an MOU for tuition support. So the cost well, right now, Certification Central is the only agency that exists that does provide the credential education that would be compensated through the district. So for a non-salaried or a non-credentialed individual, that'd be the $35,000 plus the tuition support. For a certified person, that would be the starting wage plus the tuition support. So with that, I'd stand for questions, but just wanted to lay the foundation for the concept here.
And this is possible because of legislation this past session, right? So it's kind of a new idea.
Absolutely. It was House Bill 1188 made this possible to have this credential. So the Department of Public Instruction manages the credential. An individual could get a plan of study now, and they could work for 2 years under this plan of study. So essentially you are receiving, you're doing the work while you're getting educated. And so you'd have that plan of study, so that makes them allowable to do that work right away. I didn't mention the MOU on the tuition support. So the idea, like we've done with any other position, I know we've done that with counselors before, with special educators before, that if the district supports tuition, that there is an agreement in place that what we outlined was 2 years after completion of the program, there would be a pro rata payback, essentially. If the individual leaves the district, they'd be responsible for a pro rata share of that tuition support cost. So after 2 years, if they stayed in the district for 2 years, there'd be no cost to them if they opted to take positions elsewhere. But if they completed the program after 1 year, that's when that 2 years would start. If they took the full 2 years to complete the program is built to be individualized. Somebody could do that in a year. It might take them 2 years. But that's how we've outlined that tuition support.
Melissa?
I'm just wanting to make sure that, I know right now there is a shortage of special ed educators, but in the years to come, as special educators maybe become more available, that preference would be given to those over, so that we're not using it as a means to help with the budget, that, oh, we're going to take this one over this one.
Yeah, we always want to make sure that we have the right people in place. We were just talking about this earlier today. Our budget will include special ed strategists. That's what we're looking for. This is allowing us to fill the gap. And again, this could be a great training ground for somebody that's interested in getting that additional certification. There's different pathways. Somebody could take a praxis and become certified, but it's a way for us to get the support that we need right now. We're really struggling at the middle school with the middle school position and the high school position that are open. The plan would be, if this is approved, to hire 2 technicians because we don't have applicants to fill all of those responsibilities. And we might find out that this works great, and we find the right person in place that's a technician But we're certainly looking for strategists.
Jason?
And real quick, what, the 2-year thing, is that kind of a standard, or I would like to maybe see a little longer even than 2 years? Is that a standard? Is it a legal thing, or?
No standard, it's just built that way based on the cost. You know, it's $6,800, so you spread that out too long, and it's, I felt the 2 years, when you consider the 2 years of the program, a lot of MOUs are 5 years, but if you extend that on 5 years, and these could be non-certified individuals, and when we talked it out as a group, Sally, myself, Mr. Gaylor, Mr. Hardy, and Director Bedot, we kind of settled on 2 years, because then you could potentially have them for 2 years under a plan of study, 2 years with the payback, or that MOU. It seemed a reasonable amount of time.
Any other questions for Rob? Or? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the position? Motion by Melissa. Seconded by Greg. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to others, there a motion to approve to waive the first reading to allow an immediate adoption of the fringe benefits policy DCAB and the subsequent A, review of the fringe benefits regulations DCABAR. Motion by Greg. Second by Aaron. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 2, is there a motion to approve the 21-22 Teacher's Handbook? Motion by Melissa. Seconded by Jason. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 3, is there a motion to approve the 21-22 Non-Teaching Professional Handbook? Motion by Melissa. Seconded by Gail. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 4, is there a motion to approve the 21-22 Support Staff Handbook? Motion by Jason. Second by Melissa. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 5, is there a motion to approve the 21-22 Jamestown Hub Handbook? Motion by Greg. Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to number 6, their approval of the 21-22 Athletic Handbook for directors and coaches. Moved by Heidi. Seconded by Jason. Any discussion? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just noting that I think we need to have some coverage on the esports side of it. There isn't any reference to the esports and what that, the rules and regulations and stuff, so I'm okay with, approving this for what it's intended for with the athletic side, but I think there needs to be a motion or an action taken to address the esports coverage.
Rob?
Yes, we talked about this, Mr. Roberts and I talked about this earlier today. I guess my recommendation would be to approve what we have now and give us a chance to revise as we need to. If we, I want to turn this back to Mr. Roltson to see if there's a necessity, what we need to do with esports and make any inclusion here for esports to make sure that all of our activities are represented there. So we can bring back a revision. This would give us a chance to move forward with that right now.
Okay. Heidi?
Is the esports competitive this, high school activities competitive this next year? Is it club this next year, or what is it going to be? And that might be a difference as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the, I think it's competitive, but, well, I'm not sure. That's something I need to look into, just because there's been a lot of flow with the Esports Activities Association. I'm just not sure where they're at, but.
Okay. Any other discussion? Aaron?
I guess I'd just like to amend the motion to consider, or to take an action to update the handbook subsequent to this meeting to address the esports.
Maybe there's a motion? Second, any other discussion? Hearing none, voting on the amendment? Sally, you want to just?
Gail Nelson.
We know what we're voting on.
I would like to clarify, to be honest.
It's,
We're just voting on the amendment.
the amendment is to bring forward esports to amend,
So we're not voting on the amendment yet?
No.
I would vote yes.
Aaron Robbins.
Yes.
Greg Allen. Melissa Gleason.
Yes.
Diane Hanson. Yes. No? Sorry. Roger Hout.
yes.
Heidi Larson.
Yes, if it falls under this handbook.
Jason Moore. Yes.
Okay, no. Passes. Moving on to the original motion then, with the amendment.
I have more questions. So how are we clarifying co-curricular and sports and that kind of language in here? As I read through it, it's not always clear for me, you know, how we designate things like pep band, some of those co-curriculars, or is there, how are those included in this?
Well,
So that would be my question.
that's why I wanted to bring that to Mr. Roltson to comment on, you know, as our activities director, I'd want to touch base with him
How
to,
that's explained in here, is it just, it seems to me, and I maybe have a bias, because I'm pretty prone music
Mhm.
in my life, but it seems like everything looks towards more a sports angle, and I like to see just a larger, broader scope going into that. Just that kind of sensitivity as we write with words, that we are inclusive of that would be important to me as well.
Karen, could you do me a favor and repeat that so we have it for the record there? Amendment for
The amendment is to add an update to the handbook to include esports, rules, regulations, and content. Yeah, so coaches and
Okay, any other discussion? Now we're voting on the motion with the amendment, so all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving to Roman numeral 4, there's no further business before, so the meeting's adjourned.